Hi, I'm Peter Tripodis, and tonight we are live at Watershed Distillery for a very special barrel selection. What else do you need to know? Tonight on Whisky Business. Hi, I'm Peter Tripodis, and welcome to Whisky Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. And we are live tonight. A big hello to everybody who might be tuning in on Facebook Live and on YouTube. We are live here at the Watershed Distillery with our dear friends from Watershed for a very special evening. We are going to be selecting a barrel of whiskey. I've selected barrels before, but I've never had the pleasure of actually doing it for Watershed Distillery. We are joined tonight by the, are you the owner and CEO, or what's your title, Greg?
CEO's fine.
CEO's
founder, CEO.
Founder, CEO, all around.
Yeah.
In charge,
Kind of.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like I'm not really in charge. Everyone else does everything, but I try to out here. Yeah.
And I'll ask you the same question. Do you like head distiller, master distiller, lead distiller, the guy that makes the whiskey? What's your title, Aaron Harris?
I like head distiller for now. That way, Greg's got someone to blame.
There you go. And someone who I've been trying to get on the podcast forever and a day, the lovely, talented and Demick. Your position keeps changing. What is your current position now in the company?
That's a great question. I think I'm on title number 8 or something, but I actually convinced Greg that the title Barrel Master. And it should be a job. So yeah. I'm like, this is a great idea, right?
So Barrel Master?
Yeah, I just hang out with bourbon barrels all day long.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the title that you requested.
It is.
It is.
My parents are so proud.
I bet. I bet. Because they hopefully said one day when you grow up, we hope that you're a barrel master.
Yeah.
And of course, I can't do the podcast without Greg Hansberry on the audio side, John Whitney way over there on the video side, and of course, a big thank you to Evergreen Podcast as well, who recently joined the Evergreen Podcast Network. We are thrilled to be part of that family as well. And I'm sure they're excited that we're doing this live tonight. They love this kind of stuff. If you are not familiar with Evergreen, check them out. We're on there, and there's just so many wonderful original podcasting and programming that they have, in addition to the exceptional partners that they've included into their podcast as well, their podcast network. That would be us. So check out Evergreen Podcast. Before we begin, Hansberry, a quick little bit of business, and then we'll get down to business.
That's right. And, my mic was muted. It's echoey in here. If you want to know, I've got my own camera. This is the Hansberry Fun Zone camera. I feel like I'm Aaron Andrews at the sidelines or something, doing my own thing.
I always worry about the Hansberry.
There's Chris. What's up, Chris? Anyway, so if I make anybody nauseous at home watching, I apologize. But yes, Whisky Business is your favorite podcast, not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. Recorded live here at the Watershed Distillery. If you're subscribed right now on your favorite podcasting app, thank you very much. If you aren't, you could find us on pretty much any one of your favorite podcasting apps, including Evergreen's website, evergreenpodcast.com, as I look at Dino. Is that right, dude?
I always trust that you have all the business and information, because I don't.
As soon as I look at him, we have deer eyes at each other. It's like, we're done. Yeah. YouTube with Whisky Business with Dino Tripodis. You'll be able to watch this live right now if you're watching. Thank you. Or you can watch all sorts of crazy videos that we've got posted. Let's see, what else? Facebook, Instagram, Apple, Twitter, podcast. Johnny's reading them all off for me. And this just in the Shhhhh Network.
The Shhhhh Network.
They do horror films. We just signed on a big deal with the Shhhhh Network.
How much time do you spend coming up with a make-believe edition?
Hey, they come to me. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. They ask. I have to very politely say, I don't think our platform really fits with the Shhhhh Network. Thank you for your interest.
I think last week we were one of the Olympic channels, and this week it's Shhhhh. Nonetheless, we are here live tonight, like they said, at Watershed Distillery, and I feel like we got the elite of Watershed here amongst us.
We do.
And you texted me and said, how would you like to be part of a barrel selection at Watershed? And we immediately jumped at the opportunity because we've been a part of a lot of things here at Watershed over the last few years. New releases, and I remember the first one that we did in the barrel room.
Yeah,
with
right
you.
here.
Yeah, when we got to know Greg a little bit. That was a great podcast. We found out a lot about you and a lot about Watershed and its humble beginnings. I have some questions for you that I'll get to later. And this is the first time that we met Aaron.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
My pleasure, man. Great to see you. So, Ann, tell me what we're going to be experiencing here this evening, you being the barrel master. Yes.
Not the master distiller.
Not the master
Not
distiller.
the head barrel.
No.
Barrel nerd.
Barrel master.
Barrel nerd.
So we have a really tough job here where we get to actually taste a whole bunch of barrels and select them for different products because, as you know, we just launched our new Watershed Distillery blended bourbon. We have our brand new Watershed Distillery bottled in bond, which is a selection of some of our favorite barrels.
Which is amazing.
Yes.
I said it before, I've been putting it out on social media and to friends that it stands up against any bottle and bond bourbon that's out there in this country as we speak. I know that sounds grand and suck-assy because I'm here at Watershed Distillery, but I speak the truth. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
No, keep going.
It's really, really wonderful.
You're doing cool stuff.
That never gets old here.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Definitely appreciate that.
No, we're
super
happy with it. Super happy with the reception. It's been a fun couple months or so. But when we are tasting through the different barrels and we're selecting for bottled in bond and we find our favorite barrels, we use some of them in our bottled in bond and some of them we get to set aside for literally my favorite thing that we do here, which is selecting single barrels. So we'll pick a single barrel tonight. We have 4 of them here and taste through. They're all completely different and it will be bottled at barrel strength.
Okay.
And exclusively available at Watershed Distillery.
Wonderful. Sweet.
I think we are going to have the very first ever, I'm not sure, don't want to speak for you, Whisky Business single barrel of bourbon.
Wow. Whoa. Well, you're telling me that
she said something? She said something about that.
On the Watershed label, there'll be a Whisky Business.
Yep. We'll do a custom emblem. I mean, if the Whisky Business people give us the use of, there's some legal work. We have some people.
To the guy in charge. That would be me. Well, yes.
wait. We should probably have a little power.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. Awesome. We've never had our own. No.
That is awesome.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. We're done. We're done. We'll let you know which one we pick right now because I'm silenced with that feels like Christmas and birthday all wrapped into one.
So great.
That's awesome. Okay, so now, boys, the pressure is on.
Yeah, don't mess this one up.
Yeah, this one not only represents Watershed and Whisky Business, but this is going to be exclusively at the distillery, so we cannot disappoint Ohio.
It all comes down to this moment.
Mm-hmm. I knew, I always wondered when I was growing up as a small child, what would be my moment in life.
Can we call your mom? Let's call your mom and tell her.
Call my mom. My mom's still asking me, what's this whiskey business? What's this whiskey business? How did you get into business with whiskey? But these four lovely bottles that are in front of us, created by this guy right here, who is new to the Watershed family. Fairly new, right? Tell us a little bit about how you got here, Aaron.
Started out in my roots. My pedigree is from Bardstown, Kentucky, working with 1792 and eventually with Lux Row Distillers. I got to work under some great master distillers, Ken Pierce, John Hargrove, and most recently with John Rimpey. Picked up a lot of QC techniques, a lot of the ins and outs, the pumps and valves, figuring out dead legs, figuring out what makes a barrel, and what makes it something you just need to blend and put in something else. So you got a chance to meet Greg and talk a little bit more about what Watershed was looking for and needing, and we thought boy, that sounds like something is my next transition into the business.
Because to Bardstown, Kentucky, to leave the heart of it all and to come not to Columbus, Ohio.
I elevated.
You elevated?
I elevated.
Elevated. No, that's a nice compliment to you.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Did you have to woo him?
You know, it was when Aaron and I started talking, I did feel like I was absolutely selling. Like, hey, we're doing some cool stuff up here. But you know, we kind of connected right away, and it was fun having him up here. And I think
I got to interrupt Aaron because like people are watching us on.
I know
live
they're
right
watching
now.
this live, and I see two men tweaking my nipples.
Right. And the podcast people, Dino's mic, we're using lavaliers because we're in this beautiful space, which we normally don't do. So there's some growing pains. And I'm over there, I have my arms wrapped around him, trying to go down his shirt. John's over there twisting his nipples.
What's even more disturbing is that I was perfectly okay with it.
You did it bad.
you were snuggling up. Like,
It's a Wednesday.
Just another Wednesday.
yeah.
Oh, Lord.
So, as we were saying in the wooing process,
No, like when we started talking, it's interesting. We felt like we hit it off, and it's great having Aaron here. And as soon as he was up here meeting the team, I felt like, man, it seems like this guy would be a great fit for us. He could bring a ton of knowledge, and it was kind of, we were selling him a little bit. We were talking like, man, it'd be a great win for us if we could get someone like that up here. But also, like, person to person, when you're talking and meeting someone, you're like, this guy fits the team. It would be fun to have him here and work with him every day.
so how do you feel about Columbus, Ohio, since you've been here?
So this is my second stint in Columbus.
What was your first?
Back in 2010, I lived in here for about a year working in a construction company. This has been a huge improvement. In 10 years, 11 years since I've been here, Columbus has grown leaps and bounds. There's a lot of investment in Columbus. The people have gotten a little bit calmer, I would say.
Obviously, I had two men groping me for 5 minutes, and I didn't blink an eye.
Well, they didn't touch me. But no, Columbus has been very welcoming. The community here around the distillery has been very welcoming, and we're very proud to represent the community here.
So you say you were in construction, and now you're a head lead distiller. Head distiller. And how did that transition begin? I mean,
my wife, I met my lovely wife, my amazing wife, and she exported me from Indiana and got me into Kentucky. And from there, I stumbled upon a second shift distillery supervisor position, and I ran with it.
do what you love what you do. It just became, it was your
The
calling.
wife, that sounds familiar. Exported by the wife from Indiana.
Yeah. Is that you?
2 peas in a pod right here.
Yeah. But he
landed
making
up on
whiskey.
top. Yeah.
What are you doing?
So you had to find somebody she wasn't related to.
I teased the boy. And Ann, were you excited to get Aaron on board? Obviously, I mean,
Extremely.
were you
excited.
part of the wooing process as well? Because
No. Like
Really?
they would go talk to him, and I'd be like, oh, go ask him this. Go ask him this. So I was like, ask him this. So I was like stalking from the back.
you were like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I always say that you're the woman behind the curtain.
Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. She's pretty much running the joint. Isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah.
That's why I said CEO doesn't mean much.
Before we get into the whiskeys, and I want to give ample time to try all these, because now, as I said a moment ago, the pressure all of a sudden seems increased to pick the right one.
Right.
So there probably isn't a wrong one when you think about it, right?
Not from this distillery, no.
Not from this distillery, and not from these 4 bottles. So it's really going to be about what we ultimately decide. And like, as a group, would it be, is it between my boys, or are we collectively deciding as a group?
I think that we will, we'll give you what we see,
Yes.
but this is up to you guys.
Yeah.
This is
So
totally.
so much of what you
Feel-
want in a barrel
I know.
is what you're going to feel.
I feel like I'm in school and it's a test and I don't test well.
Can we
It's
add a
open
handful
book.
of candy corn in there?
Wait, So
But
before,
we'll tell you if you pick the wrong.
Right, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Wait, so my first question, and you might hit this as we go. So you gave us 4 selections, but when you guys come out here and pick a barrel for you, you've got a whole rick house basically back there. What do you like? Where do you go? Where do you start? How many do you start with?
We should ask the barrel master.
well, so we pull samples all the time, and when bourbon is maturing, it kind of comes up in seasons. When you're a smaller distillery like we are,
Right.
and so these are all 100% distilled, aged, and bottled here, which is something that's pretty different about how Watershed started. There's so many craft distilleries. I think, Greg, when you guys started, there were less than 200 in America.
In the U.S. Yeah.
Today, there's over 4,000.
Wow.
But so many of those are actually, sourcing from bigger distilleries. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but years ago, it was kind of a dirty secret. But you actually started distilling right from day one. So the bourbon didn't come out until originally it was 2 years old.
Yeah,
when
just
Watershed,
over 2.
Original Watershed bourbon was 2 years old. And so as of July, everything that we have is age stated in our bourbon portfolio and is a minimum of 4 years old. And we have something coming out later this year that is just under 8 years old.
Oh,
And it is 100% distilled, aged, and bottled here. So
Sweet.
There's only a
super
little bit
rare.
of it, just a teeny bit of it. But
Right.
it's kind of fun to-
but it's going to be
It's
fun
very
to put
small.
out there.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
everything we're going to be sampling tonight and tasting is between 4 to 5 years old.
These are all 4 to 5 years old.
Okay,
Mhm.
nice,
Yeah.
nice. And what else can we look forward to in the months to come from what it seems like you guys are always now? It used to be like once a year. Look forward to the Chino Festival and so forth. And it'd be like
And
something.
Then we hired Ann.
and now it seems like every couple of months there's something going
We've been
on.
running out
And
of
then
juice.
it's so funny because now that Aaron's here, I see these different barrels coming through. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just trying that out. And I'm just trying that out over here. So it's a pretty experimental group. But the next big thing, the thing that we're working on right now, very hard work, is our batch number 2 of our barrel strength bourbon that's finished in apple brandy barrels. And this batch has barrels that are anywhere from 6 years old to just under 8 years old.
Wow.
And they were aged 4 years in new charred oak barrels.
Yeah.
And then they were finished for at least an additional 2 years in a variety of barrels between Char 2 and Char 4 that aged apple brandy that we also made 100% distilled, aged, and bottled from Ohio apples. You just can't get more Ohio than this product.
Yeah, right. And the apple brandy, that's always a fun departure. For
It
me,
is fun.
especially in the wintertime.
Yeah.
That's when I enjoyed it probably the most was the apple brandy in the winter months. So exciting stuff that's coming down the line from Watershed. Exciting stuff this evening. While we taste, I will have questions as we go along. Aaron, are we going from right to left or left to right this evening?
I believe with the lineup, we're going to go left to right.
Whoa.
I think this is going to help tease your palate
Okay.
a little bit and then help open it up as we go along.
Is there anything that we need to know going into this? Is marked bottle 846.
Yes.
846. What's that number mean?
That's the barrel number.
That's the barrel number. That's the
Yes.
barrel number. And these are all the barrel numbers.
So there's different strategies. I'm jumping in here.
I
right?
say that only
There's-
because I figured these were
Right.
barrel numbers, but then this one's just all by its lonesome. It doesn't have a dash or anything. Next.
So before either of us worked here, they had a lot of different naming conventions for barrels.
The nomenclature was kind of all
We
over the place.
switched our computer system. 846 is a little bit older, and we switched our computer system, and the new computer system had more numbers.
More
So it's
numbers.
just
So newer got more complicated.
yeah, we got sophisticated.
Sophisticated is a better word.
Yeah.
All right. So what are we looking here at the 846?
846 is actually, so some barrel groups come in and they don't want to know any of the details. So I didn't fill in all of them, but
Okay.
I have them here. And some of them don't like to talk as they're trying because they don't want to influence each other. But since we're on a live broadcast, that would be
Talking's
really
kind of
Let's
boring.
just be
boring.
silent for the next
Kind of
2
boring,
hours.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
2 hours of note taking.
Yeah.
No, we won't do that. But this is actually the oldest barrel that we have of the 4 that we're going to try today. So this is from December of 2016.
Okay.
And are you sharing the proof on this one?
I will share the proof on this one. This is actually 119 proof, 4 years, 8 months old.
And I will say this, I will say, please let everyone taste it at least one time before we give the power of suggestion to rule our lives.
So taste
Oh my God.
fast.
Walk us through the smells. So we're doing it right.
Ooh, I already ran into
Well, no,
tasting.
do it.
I mean,
And also, I have some Bubblicious in. Is that bad?
Yeah,
spit that out,
well, you might
Brandon.
want to
Matter at
spit
all.
that out, my
Rinse
friend.
with coffee,
Okay.
Bubblicious, and go.
All right, so I'm wafting just the smell.
For me, this one is bread pudding, dessert. It's a really like warm baking spices, but definitely something that's substantial.
It's interesting. I always have to take it. I can smell beforehand, but I always have to take a sip and get my palate going a little bit, and then I can come back and
And then
it
the
smells
sniff.
like my nose is a little bit sharper after that.
Sure.
So you got
Too
baking
many sips and it
spices,
gets less
and
sharp. But
I got more of a flowery scent to the nose on this one for me, right out of the gate.
yeah, I think I'm picking up what you're talking. I almost called it a little more vegetal, but
Mhm.
there's something on that.
But I see now when I taste it, as you said,
It's like bread.
I feel the
Bread pudding
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
with like caramel drizzle on top.
what about you, Greg?
I was gonna say, like, if caramel drizzle came served on bread pudding,
Yes.
that'd
It
be
does in Kentucky with bourbon.
Maybe a little bit of vanilla.
Now I got
Jenny's vanilla ice cream.
I've got tobacco. I've got a little tobacco from Kentucky in that.
A little smoke.
It shouldn't be there, but it is. And that's a little bit of the barrel that's coming through.
when you
now.
say that it shouldn't be, but it is. That is the barrel coming through.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
our char coming.
That's
It's
the
a
char.
char.
Yeah.
It's a char 5.
I think bitter is a bad term, but I got a little bitter finish. But it's not bad to me. It tastes good, like a dry.
Cake in the pants.
It's like I wasn't
Chocolate?
sure when I smelled it, but after I taste it, I really like that bourbon.
And
That's a good bourbon.
You're getting a little bit of everything. In
it's
that,
a little.
that bourbon right now.
It's got a nice warm finish, but at the very tail end of it, it's kind of sweet.
I've got the chocolate at
It's
the
got a little sweetness at the end. It's like the finish closes with, here you go.
Would you say it
Is that
disappears
the
off your
kick
palate?
that you got
or
at
is
the
it-
end?
Well, no,
Is it hanging out?
It's hanging out on my palate, but the last thing that's hanging on the way out is like, okay, this is a nice warm finish. It's still in my chest, but as far as the taste of it towards the end, it closes off with a little sweet note.
It dissipates quickly, I think.
Mhm.
Oh, you're
Nice.
right. That's not, I feel like it was Rudy over there at High Bank. He just was like, what do you just like? There's no wrong answers, so I just start spitting stuff out, and it's like every once in a while my dart will hit close to the board. I'm like, yeah, that's it.
So he didn't say that's the wrong answer.
Right? Yeah, yeah. You know, so
All right. Well, that is one hell of a start.
And a great way to reset your senses. Have a
Yes.
sniff of your arm, forearm, your sleeve.
really,
That'll help reset your senses a little bit. So go for
We
it.
have a little bit of water.
You may have some more.
can I have a sniff of Dino's shirt?
You can try.
You were groping me earlier. That's all you get. Is,
So the next barrel we're going to is actually from May of 2017.
okay.
It is 118.2 proof. It is from the same selection of barrels that we pulled from for our initial bottled in bond
Really?
release.
Okay. Now,
So this
now,
is a sister to
how does
those.
that not unconsciously influence me? Because I just raved about the
Well,
bottle of bond earlier.
You have to reserve
Okay.
your thoughts because there's more fun to come.
But see, this one
There
didn't make
is
the
more
cut
fun.
for that barrel, but it
Well-
made a cut for your barrel.
You know why the first one didn't make the cut for bottled and bond? The first one wasn't in it. Bottled and bond has to be from a season, and it's the season has to be January to June or
Right.
July to December. So, because we were picking all those barrels from January to June, this December barrel got booted. So,
But it's back for another.
well, we can because we're only doing a single barrel now. It doesn't matter.
It's looking for acceptance.
Yeah,
It's looking for acceptance. It wants to be part of the family so badly. All right, let's go. This is
But there's barrels that you come across and we might completely disagree. It's like this is weird. And I'm like, this is magic. Did you taste that? The Bubblicious one that we had before? It was seriously like juicy fruit gum.
So when you say weird and you say magic, is weird in a good or bad sense? Because magic sounds pretty positive.
It's magic to somebody.
Weird. What's weird mean from a lead distiller?
So head distiller.
Head distiller.
So
sorry.
So
Room for
we're
promotion.
Ann and I are on like the same wavelength most of the time. It's just she is way crazier about a single barrel than I ever will be in my life. I enjoy putting out a consistently good product, but Ann's realm of single barrels is unlike anything I've ever seen. So for her to say that something is magical, it means that it's going into her portfolio of just. She's got a single barrel for every client she's ever met or every person she's ever met. So
it's like dating.
Yeah, whatever.
You know,
She dates
I mean,
barrels.
you might meet somebody and just not jive with them at all, and then you find your match,
Right.
and it's just perfect. And I think out of a good single barrel program, you want to have that variation. So we try to pull barrels from different seasons that have different flavor profiles, and that's the fun part.
Well, we have used the word funky together before, and
You've used the word.
Well, I've talked to Ann about it. Like, it sounds like a negative term, but it's not. It could be a good thing.
Right. That like kind of when you taste those barrels that come along, and they might be 4 or 5 years old, but they drink like one of the old dusties, that you found in Grandpa's, whatever liquor cabinet.
Funky is not
Shelf.
bad.
Yes. Did everyone get a sample?
I've only
we're
taken a whiff. I haven't taken a taste yet.
Well, you obviously have all that change in the barrel too, so it may have gotten passed over like
John
wine,
likes
and
this
then,
one.
6 months later, or whatever, you taste it again, and you're like, wow, that.
This seems to be a little lighter than this first one.
And when you're getting that
Lighter,
open your
sweeter.
mouth up when you're doing that too.
No, this is 118.
right around the
This
same.
is just a
It's
little
a
bit
touch
lower.
lower.
118.2. First one was 119. This one's a little sweeter than the 846.
just off the nose. This one is brighter. This one's it
Brighter?
hasn't.
As in more intelligent.
No.
This one's been
As
on
in, I wish
Jeopardy.
you were.
Sparkly. People are like, it's hot. I'm like, it's sparkly. It's great. But no, this one, it just seems like maybe it hasn't had as hard of a life. Like, it's just really, things have gone well for this barrel.
It's a trust fund bottle.
But it could be good.
It's definitely, to me, it's sweeter than the first one, for sure.
Yeah.
I
It's a
guess,
cheerleader.
I guess it's a what?
It's a cheerleader.
It's a cheerleader.
From a good
So sweeter
family.
and brighter. Would you say it's more positive than the last one we had? Or are we gonna?
I would say
It's the good child.
It's a glass half
it's-
full.
Yeah.
Like third serpent.
This one did its
Third
homework.
serpent.
This one went to bed at a decent hour.
Right. Doesn't need eye cream. This one is.
It's
Life went well.
she can sell, a piece of poop in a shoebox, can't she?
You guys should hear some of the tasting notes when we do these barrel
that's-
selections.
Thanks, Chris.
Wow. It's just remarkably different from the other one, which is what I love about this. This is going to end up being a very hard decision before it's all. We may have to try them all again, which is what we normally do in the tasting anyway. Because as we've discovered, when you're doing, what you taste the first time out, and if you go through 3 or 4 of these, you go back, and 846 might have a whole different taste and complexity to it than it had originally.
Definitely revisit your first one at the end.
I want to ask you a question. You weren't always a whiskey person you didn't go to school for this. You didn't decide. What did you go to school for?
Well, now you can go to school for this,
I know, but you didn't.
But 20 years ago, they didn't have this.
Right.
So I was a science fair kid. I did not know about distilling at all, good kid, and was originally pre-med and then decided I hope my parents aren't watching.
Oh, I hope they are. I hope they
gosh.
are. You're going to be very proud. I'm sure they are.
I ended up picking a
She has a
major
master's.
so that I would never have to move back home. So I ended up being a mechanical engineer in the auto industry. Met my husband in Detroit. He's also an engineer. He's still an engineer. He's a real engineer.
Yep.
And now I use all of that spreadsheet and forecasting and all of that to figure out how long we need to age barrels and how many we need to put away. And
So,
Yeah.
in theory, you still are using the skill set that you studied for. You're just applying it to a whole different
a
vehicle.
way more fun way.
Yeah. And you've been in this business now for how long?
A little over 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And what were you doing before you eased into this world?
Stay-at-home momming.
Stay-at-home mom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Raising a child.
that was it.
And
How
so
old
you,
are
so
they? One, two, multiple? How many you got?
Just one,
How old?
18 and moving to college
oh,
Look at that.
a week from tomorrow.
Oh
So
my
I'm
gosh,
an empty nester.
You're going to be an empty nester.
Yes.
If only you had whiskey
I
to
know.
ease your pain.
Oh, if only.
Is he going to follow in your footsteps? Is he going to go to
You know, so
Moonshine U?
2 engineer parents, liberal
Isn't that
arts
a thing?
major.
Liberal arts major.
Really awesome.
Isn't that
I was like,
interesting?
oh man, he knows his stuff.
Sometimes they go the opposite way.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Wait, sorry, I was goofing. What did you say? Where's he going? Or what's he saying?
Oh, he's going to OU studying psychology.
All right, good for him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He can tell us something.
Wants to be a therapist.
Right.
He wants to be a therapist.
I'm kind of like a therapist, sort of. No. You're just drinking.
He wants to be a therapist because his dad's an engineer and his mom is in the whiskey world. And he
Yeah.
probably just, feels that at some point they're going to need me.
Legit.
So do you have any regrets about when you say you were in the auto industry before
Do you
that?
know what I get to do every day?
I know what you got to do.
There are no regrets.
No, I did not regrets about this job.
Oh.
Do you have any regrets about leaving where you were in the? You said you were in the auto industry. No,
No.
you never pined. You never pined to go back to.
I mean, manufacturing is fun.
Yes.
Making
I
things is
assume
fun.
so. I don't know.
The
I've never been in
people are
manufacturing.
great. It's really fun.
Mhm.
But making something like this is way more fun.
Right.
Not that I don't make it. Aaron makes it.
And,
But-
and you're coming up on your 2-year anniversary with Watershed.
Yeah.
Because prior to that,
Yes.
they stole you away from
Well,
big boys.
Yeah.
They did.
It was a friendly parting. I mean, it was. So I worked for one of the larger distilleries
Yes, you did.
in Kentucky.
That's how we first met.
And I was always on the road. And so now I have a 4-minute commute and a desk that is feet away from thousands of barrels aging.
I'm pointing in this direction over here. That's Ann's office, and
Yeah.
it's like a liquor playground.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. There's bottles. There's advertising. There's a bicycle. I see a bicycle there.
It's a commune.
It's a,
It's a
Who's that guy sleeping in there?
eventually it might be you
I need to
if we're
clean
not
my
careful. Okay, so let's my next set of questions are going to be for the CEO as well. But what do we think about this second one, guys? The 0022.
So for me, right on the front, I get a good chew, a good raisiny. I won't say a lot of dried fruit, but a very raisiny, fruity, kind of a punch, and then it's a very good finish for me. It's not too long, but I think it's a great everyday drinker.
Let me follow up on that. A great everyday drinker. Question for the room. What makes a good everyday drinking whiskey?
I'll go ahead. An everyday drinking whiskey is
One that you could go to that's an everyday pour. Yeah, like if you got nothing else, you've always got that.
It's one I don't mind sharing. I don't care who gets it. If it's one I'm going to a party with, I'll give it to my friends and they'll know that, hey, we made this. It's great. Obviously want you to try it and tell your friends, but anything that is above that, that's something for me.
Okay, fair enough.
one that you can find without waiting in line. That's less than $50.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it has to be
Marketing.
something that's a good price point, accessible,
Mm-hmm.
tastes great.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think about the
Before you
everyday,
started making your own, I mean, yeah.
the
yeah.
everyday whiskey or bourbon for me it's more on the dessert side where, bourbons, there's so many vanillas and caramels and I think of some of those everyday ones that are just simple and easy. They're nice and sweet on the end and kind of remind you of dessert. And it's, for me, if I'm feeling adventurous, then I go to the rye heavy or the unique, or that's when the single barrel. That's when Anne gets all excited and has her magical single barrels. But I think when we're trying to create a blend, it's more on how do we create something that's anybody who's a bourbon drinker is going to drink it and be like, oh, this is good. I can sip on this.
Right.
I can enjoy it.
Right. So
that's where I agree. Like when I taste this one, I think of desserts and sweetness, and I get some of that that bright. Brightness in that whiskey. So
yeah, I think when I go for an everyday, obviously, through the years that I've been drinking it, I go with something obviously that I'm familiar with, comfortable with, and an everyday bourbon for me is I don't mean to put this close of a relationship to booze, but a friend, because it's
A best friend.
my only friend. My only friend. You're the only one that understands
Go to
me.
bed without kissing that tonight.
No, it's not like that. But it has that. It has that. It's a comforting thing. It is a relationship of sorts, but not in the bad alcoholic way. In the comforting, I can, and dependable.
Consistent.
Consistency.
Going back to what Aaron said, you know what you're getting
You
from
know what
that
you're getting.
bottle. Yeah.
Well, for me, if you care,
I do care. I was gonna.
I'm kidding.
I saved you for
I
last
know.
because I feel that yours is the most important.
Oh,
of
thanks,
all.
Dino. He's a good bullshitter. Well, two things. Like Ann, it's got to be readily available and cheap,
Right.
but also like,
Inexpensive. Let's not say cheap.
yeah, inexpensive, affordable. But I like something that you could drink straight, or you don't feel bad zhuzhing up in like an old fashioned.
What? Doing what?
Zhuzhing
What?
up.
Zhuzhing? Zhuzhing up?
Zhuzhing up.
Zhuzhing. Zhuzhing
Just
up.
a little
That sounds
zhuzh.
I know.
So it's got
I
to be
don't
able to do
think
both.
Do you have that copyrighted?
Yeah.
Zhuzh.
Let's put that into the whiskey vernacular. It was good. It's got a zhuzhy kind of palate.
We'll put that on
We
the
had the
sticker.
jalapeno
Zhuzhy
to
nose.
zhuzh it up. I'm done. That's it.
That's it. You can't follow zhuzhy. So yeah, once again, this is totally different from the 846. So we'll come back and visit that one again as we approach into our third. Let me get a little more taste of water. Our third one, the 0212. Tell me about this one, Ann.
So we started with a barrel from 2016. And we now have, at the end, I love to do this. We have two sister barrels. So they were actually filled on the same day. So they're from the same distillate batch. So this is your chance to actually experience how two different barrels with the same distillate
Cool.
can evolve differently
That's
because they
cool.
have different flavor profiles.
That's great.
They're going to have threads that are common, you'll see
Right.
that like within a season, but different personalities.
So what is it when they say it's not identical twins? It's
They're fraternal.
fraternal twins.
Yeah.
So these will be fraternal twins.
These will be fraternal.
Yeah.
Usually there's like a fun one, and then there's like the one that did its homework.
Yeah. So
That's
this is the 212.
And we jumped into a different proof point.
Yeah.
So we're now up
yeah.
at 128.7.
128.
Hey, John, will you call my wife? Tell her I'll need a ride.
Hey, Whitney's already secured a ride home with me. Do I need to take you home as well? And,
It just got fun.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna start a new ride program called Sober.
Well, so when you're at 118, 119, she goes, "We're in a new proof point."
128. But you know what? And everybody always panics when they go, "Oh, it's what?" But as I've discovered over the years, just because it's a really high proof doesn't always necessarily mean that it's going to be hot. I've had some high proof whiskeys that have been really, really hot and have benefited from a little bit of water to kind of settle its ass down a little bit and open up. But I have not tasted this one yet.
So the nose on this one, I don't think the nose would give away that it's a completely different.
Not at all.
No, you're right. Wow. I mean, that was an interesting flavor profile. What do you guys think?
All right. Well, before I take a sip of this, I have a few more questions
That's interesting.
for Greg as well. You've already sipped a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't sipped it.
I sipped too. And what was the age? I missed the age on that one.
This one just turned 4 years old.
Okay.
16.
This is fun.
It was
Now see? That's what I'm talking about.
7 days ago.
Oh, wow.
I like
This is not super hot.
Anne's calling Greg L and me Greg H. It's like because my wife's been watching The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and that's what they do on The Bachelor.
They just go with the last initial.
Lindsay H. Yeah.
Now, when we first talked to you, Greg,
Greg H or Greg L, please address us properly.
when we first talked to you on that very first podcast when we were in the barrel room, I'm listening to you, Greg.
No, he's not.
Yes, I am listening to you. I hear the whole initial, The Bachelor, the whole thing. I am. I'm paying attention, but I want to seize the moment here with Greg L. I would like you to have this rose. When we first talked to you way back in the barrel room about the humble beginnings of Watershed when you were making the gin and the vodka to pay the bills, as I remember you saying back then, and the bourbon that came out. Do you look back at that 2-year-old bourbon, and how do you feel about that bourbon compared to everything else that has come after that? I mean, I know you wanted to get into bourbon, but when you look at that first bourbon, that first baby that came out that you birthed, and now where you're at, what do you think? How do you feel?
You know, it's easy to say our bourbon's better today.
Sure.
But there was, like, I do remember how proud we were to share that bourbon and excited we were to bring it to market. And it's almost like part of the beauty or the fun of a craft distiller is people that live in Columbus have watched this progression and watched this grow. And it was a 2-year-old product.
Like a child.
And, you know, it had some great things going for it, but it also had a lot more potential. And that's what's fun to be able to say, like, you know, this stuff's 4 years old. You know, it's at a whole different level. And not only that, but you think about me distilling on day one and how much we've learned. And, you know, as you go through this thing and, you know, then you get guys like Aaron on board, and just the clear distillate coming off the still is at a completely different level than it was on day one. And the equipment we have is at a different level than it was on day one. So all that stuff adds up. And we were extremely proud on day one, but was it as good as what we're doing today? No. Not even close.
No.
And so it's fun to have some bourbon groups and some people around town taste this stuff and get excited about it. It's definitely exciting.
Well, I mean, you always you get excited when a child grows and develops.
I mean, I tried it way back then. I remember Grant Bain, one of your original employees. And so we did a bourbon dinner together, and I had my stuff and he had his stuff. And it was young, but it had this butterscotch Werther's. I mean, it was great. You could taste the potential even back then.
You could taste the potential.
You could taste it. Yes.
And it's the same. If you go back there now and you tap into our 1-year-old or 2-year-old barrels, like, there's some exciting stuff coming, but it just takes a little bit to build all those flavors.
Aaron, speaking of flavors, let's go back to this third selection here. You've been sitting quietly and looking. I've watched you. You're looking at your own product as if you're just drinking it for the first time.
It's actually the second time in a week and a half I think we went through these barrels. So, you know, this particular barrel has got, I feel, a sweet caramel, slight fruit on the tongue. I don't feel a ton of barrel characteristics on it. It's got heat. I don't think it's super overpowering. I feel like what you had mentioned earlier was some barrels need just a touch of proofing down or just a touch of water to help open them up a little bit. I think this might be one we could try that with.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I'm going to pour a little bit more and put a little more water and try it.
On the second go round, when we review, I will add a little water to it. But I definitely get, especially on the finish, I get the caramel. Every once in a while, I'll come across a tasting or a bourbon that I was waiting to see if the roof of my mouth kind of stays there. And this is one that has that little bit of caramel that, like, I almost got to take my tongue and get it out.
So, but for being 128.7 proof, I mean, not at all. I thought that as far as finish, the 8.6 had a longer and stronger finish than the 28. Yeah. I can go back and remember how far.
It's been 12 years.
Man. So, in respect to Watershed
Distillery itself.
There's other products as
well. That's right? You make everything else. So let's talk about some of the other products for a moment. People can get ready to taste them. And tell me how the development
of those particular beverages is going and anything new
and exciting that we should know about. Because there are some people
devoted to your gins and your
vodkas, especially. I mean, I hear people raving about your gins.
Yeah, our 4 Peel gin gets a lot of attention. And people come in, and when I see people out and they learn Watershed, I think they take a lot of times I hear, you know, it's not bourbon. It's, 4 Peel gin, I love that gin.
Yeah.
With the citrus notes, the grapefruit, the orange, like it's delicious. It's super fresh. We hear that a lot, and it's always fun to hear. It's you know, the support around town is pretty great. Which
We just won a big award.
yeah.
Mr. Fred Minnick and the Ascot Award.
Right.
And the Ascot Award?
The Ascot Award?
Yeah.
To wear an ascot.
I know Fred Minnick, but the Ascot Award.
Fred
I'm not
Minnick,
familiar
and
with.
well, there's multiple categories. And so Fort Peel Gin actually made it to the final 3
Wow.
Yeah.
category as best in category. Yeah, we have a little. It looks like an Emmy or an Oscar, or one of those awards. It came in the mail. Yeah.
So when it comes to the other liquors, are you involved in that as well?
Yes.
So you're involved in the process of liquors as well?
Yeah, so cordials are liqueurs, our white spirits, brown spirits. That falls at the helm of the production team to produce and fulfill whatever else wants to sell.
The bourbon barrel gin.
That's you.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
Whitney, your wife is a big fan
Of the gin.
Yeah.
Right? She raves about it all the time.
My question is, I'm a big rye fan.
Oh.
What are you getting at here?
I'm wondering, since it's such a wonderful progression through the years,
I feel like
I feel like that's a better word.
No, it's not a
I
bad.
feel like you're a bunch of like guilty children.
Let's break it down.
Did he say why?
Did you say?
Did you say anything?
Greg, you're the boss. Let's just spill the beans right now.
What's funny is
When
like,
can we expect it?
you said you're a big rye fan. I feel like that whole half of the table is a big rye fan.
So, and I feel bad. I'll be like,
Oh, no.
you're talking about the cousin we never speak of.
Yeah. Oh, he wasn't invited.
He's stuck in the back.
He's in a barrel.
He's in a barrel.
He's in
Are
the
there any
barrel.
thoughts? Are there any thoughts about a rye product down the line?
The rye products
Yes.
that Watershed Distillery may or may not have in the works
Uh-huh.
have yet to be announced.
Door.
But I will say that some do exist in the works. Whether or not what that is exactly is not.
And I'm not
Juju.
saying that.
There's no juju
There's
involved
no
either.
juju.
You don't need a
Juju.
juju. But no, that is something that we are looking into because, quite frankly, Ann and I have a deep love for rye. So, yes.
Okay.
Good rye.
Good
rye.
rye.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bad rye.
all right, let's do
Yeah.
like the Price is Right. I'll say like a year, and you say higher or lower. 1 year.
Wait,
Price is wrong.
I don't know.
Wait. From
No,
now?
yeah, 1 year from now. So
Oh,
I'll say
from now,
1 year,
from
and you
now.
go
I thought-
higher or lower.
From now?
Yeah, like it's like a sooner or later. 1 year.
Lower.
Sooner.
Okay.
6 months.
All right.
6 months.
You know what it feels like?
Okay.
I'm
All right. That's good enough.
I'm almost
Go
sorry
on.
I asked the question. I feel like this could have been like all the Marvel Universe movies. Like you have to wait for all the credits to roll at the end, and then at the very end there's a teaser. That everybody goes, "Oh!" I feel like the rye whiskey should have been the teaser if he would have stuck around for the end of the credits of a Marvel movie.
Probably.
But it popped into my
You're a
head
good
as we were-
interviewer
as we
because
were speaking. So.
You've got
Well, that's exciting. I mean, I'm not gonna get my expectations up or assume anything or project, but it's out there.
Well, and if there happens to be a riot,
If,
there
that's right.
is something that's going to launch before that, which has to do with bourbon, which is really exciting, which we could talk about now. Or
Oh, let's talk about it now. Let's talk about it now.
We talked
before
about the apple brandy finish.
Yeah, we
thing.
did.
Are we going as far as Christmas time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
it's right around the
I was
corner.
gonna
And
talk
another
about-
thing we've never done before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, come on, we're live. We're live. Let's do it. Let's
Go ahead.
let anybody
Talk about it.
let the poor people who are watching be in the know.
Man, we're letting it all out. So,
I'm
Aaron,
excited about this.
I was gonna
product.
say-
and what's crazy is we have no idea how it's going to turn out. Like,
That's the fun
I
part.
mean-
I
Well, that's
think.
kind of
Yeah.
we're
exciting.
pretty sure it'll be good.
Isn't it kind
on
of
paper,
exciting?
on paper, it makes sense, but
It does.
Not knowing, I mean, the element of surprise, but
is
there's still
surprising.
something left to be, looking forward to. I mean, if you
It may need some juju. I don't know.
some you gotta not juju, jus.
I'm not Italian.
Jus. It's not even jus. It's some sort of bad French thing he was doing.
I guess.
There's a little
But you won't go with juju. From Kentucky, you won't go with juju. It's good.
Bad juju.
Bad juju, good juju. I think it's kind of cool that you guys are like, we got something and we have no idea what it's going to be.
Are we going to tell them what it is?
We can tell.
Oh yeah, I mean it's Christmas time. Do you want to
Yeah,
take a guess?
yeah, but
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, hell, I don't know. Wassail.
It's actually
what
good.
did you promise?
No. Like,
I'm just trying to. I don't know any Christmas.
so every summer we have kind of a big open house for Peel Fest.
Right.
Which is super fun. And then in December, we have our traditional Nocino Fest. And we
right.
like to have like new things, and that's when we get experimental. So this year, for the first time, people know that we have our Ohio Black Walnut Nocino, and it's finished in bourbon barrels, it's
Right.
aged in bourbon barrels. But it's actually made from vodka, if you want to really get into it. We're actually making a batch of Nocino in bourbon.
Wow, with bourbon.
with
So-
bourbon.
Yes,
Instead
with
of-
bourbon.
Instead of vodka is the base spirit, it's going to be for here aged bourbon as its base.
Oh my goodness.
and we selected
should
the
be
barrels
magical.
for
It
it.
should be magical.
So that's what you're saying. You have no idea.
We've never tasted.
Has anyone ever tried to do that
I
before?
don't think
that you know
anybody's
We
of?
probably
Ever done
should have
this.
tried it before we made.
Okay.
No,
So
nobody's ever done
barrels
this.
of
So
it.
we're talking about
We're
this.
out on a limb.
That's awesome.
When it's
I
ready,
want to buy
when
a bottle
it's
right
ready
now.
and
Put
it's
me down.
done.
It's gonna be great.
When it's ready and it's done. I mean, is it going to come out regardless? What if it's?
If it's terrible, we'll come back on the show. and
Oh,
say,
I was
"Hey,
going to
it's
say,
terrible."
God forbid. But if it's terrible,
We'll probably tell people it's terrible and
So-
sell it.
People still buy
Oh,
it.
this is
Adidas
terrible. You
sticker
don't
on
want
it.
it. We'll sell you.
So we selected.
yes.
We actually selected the barrels of bourbon that we did this with, and it was only a couple barrels and salty caramel. I mean, those barrels were so great. That was fun. So we selected barrels specifically for this project.
How do you feel about this?
He was part of the selection.
I know he's part of selection, but how does he feel about it? I mean, he's got a very contemplative. I'm not really sure if I want to reveal how I truly feel about this process because it involves some bastardizing of products that I've never done before.
He's excited on you.
So with my position being elevated to head distiller from where I was, comes new opportunities and growth. So this is a pure opportunity for research and development to make something that's wonderful with pure Ohio product. So
wow,
it's
a
ready
really
to
good
go.
answer.
I pay him
You're
to say
welcome.
that.
That's a
He's so
really good
kind.
answer.
You're
That's
welcome.
a really good answer.
You're welcome.
I would say it almost sounds rehearsed, but no, I think you meant that.
I'm too drunk for rehearsal.
Okay, so that's something extra to look forward to.
You got all the stories tonight,
I'm
Dana.
telling
There's
you, man,
nothing
the
more.
dig. Ask about rye, and you get a very special Nicino. That's cool. And maybe, possibly, can't commit to it, a rye coming down the line. That's not.
I didn't say that.
No, you didn't say
You said
that.
it.
They didn't say that. That's me. That's me. That's me.
Yeah, according
That's
to
me
the Price
being
is Right,
hopeful.
within a year.
Hopeful and optimistic. Not a commitment from
Johnson
anybody here at
antagonist.
Watershed Distillery. It's just me saying, I hope it happens.
Barrel
As we
number
go to our fourth whiskey of the night, and 0217,
The sister barrel.
the sister barrel, the fraternal twin.
0212.
I'm a fraternal twin.
Are you really a
I am.
fraternal twin?
Yeah, I hope my twin brother Adam's watching tonight.
What's he do for a living?
Adam, he's in car manufacturing.
Yeah. Huh. He's in the auto
He's in the auto industry.
industry. It's so weird. It's very almost incestual. Everybody's just kind of comes from the same worlds and then all mixed
We
together.
escaped.
Yeah. Does he envy you?
I don't think so. No,
No.
No.
He's happy with what he's doing.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. You get along with him?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Does he drink whiskey?
I think.
No. You already.
I think he's a beer drinker.
You
more
already,
than he
you
would
already
be
answered
whiskey.
my question
Yeah.
when you went.
It's okay.
Nah,
Do you have one of those
really.
weird languages that only twins can understand?
We have none of that.
Oh,
No,
okay.
there's none of that escape to Witch Mountain and crap going on.
What's
But
the
we-
proof on this one? This fourth
Oh
one?
man. If we had more, if
Which one did you
if
hate?
this could be a two-parter, I would dig so deep into your personal lives and draw out so much shit that would be amazing.
We get in psychologist.
Oh, I
It
know.
would be like those episodes you did where your neighbor interviewed you.
Yeah.
Those were great.
Thank
Two
you.
parts.
We did two parts. There was
We're
supposed to
still
be a
waiting the
third.
third, yeah.
The third never happened
It was good.
because the third one.
He's like a prosecutor, right? Or something?
He's an attorney.
Yeah,
He does.
okay.
Yeah.
It was
You
good.
go back to the end.
Good
He-
series.
Yeah. For those people who Anne apparently
I'm a
watches
super
everything.
fan. So
Yeah, thank you. The third one is the deep dark shit, and we haven't gotten to that one yet. So someday. Anyway, how about the sports whiskey?
Something bright.
Moving on.
Oh.
So what are we looking at on number 4 here?
And you shared the
One-
proof and I missed it.
yes, 128.6.
Oh, just
So very similar.
the sister bottle is just a fraction away from.
Mhm.
Okay, so which one was? So I'm going to say 128.7 was born first, and then 128.6
Just
behind.
behind.
just behind it. Okay,
But
and-
filled on the same day.
still on the same day.
Yep. Just turned
And
4
I rem-
years old.
And
one
I remember
week
what
ago.
you said, that it'll be already just from the nose. The sisters are not identical.
No, not at all.
What makes them so different?
Like in terms of flavor, or how did the magic happen in the barrel?
Yeah, what part of the building? What's causing this difference?
Ooh, I would love to say, because at some Kentucky distilleries that are great, they put their barrels in one place and they pretty much live there for a lot of the time. And so you can see that, this is from this warehouse on this floor, but we are in our original location, but our footprint has expanded within that location. And so you can't necessarily say, with space constraints and actually being like a real small business, the barrels don't stay in the same place all the time. They get moved around and everything.
They get jostled quite a bit.
Yeah, it's part of our magic. There we go.
All right.
That's a pretty good answer.
There you go.
That's a very good answer. Nose, to me, anyway, this one's a lot more complicated than the first sister.
Mhm.
It's got a lot more going on than sister one. Sister Two's got.
She's a dropout.
Yeah.
It's like my
Sister
sister. I got
Two
two. Second
followed
one,
all the
totally.
rules
Yeah.
and stayed very consistent and steady. Sister number 2's got.
Sister 2 like might not follow the rules of society, but has a depth. Really.
She's popular.
Maybe.
She's what?
She's a
Punk
rare
rock.
breed.
Sister 2 has a longer finish than
Yeah.
Sister 1. I could still feel her in me.
I get a little peppery on the palate.
Yeah. But which
There's
was
a
weird,
sweetness at the end.
flowery on the nose to me.
Mhm.
Peppery on the palate and flowery on the nose, for me anyway. She is complicated.
I know. But there's the sweetness that blooms like in the second half.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thinking it's great.
Wow.
And some of my other questions, and I mean, as we talk about it, like, how often do you outsource knuckleheads like us to do these things?
Not near enough.
First time.
First
but-
time.
Yeah.
Like breaking ground.
No, but I mean, you mentioned like you had some of your staff and bar staff pick. Do you have other peers in the community, or this is really
No, so this is actually it's
Fourth.
it was Greg's idea that when the restaurant was reopening, we just started doing kind of our barrel strength single barrels last year in the end of the year. And they've been very popular. And, why don't we actually have our own team select some single barrels? So we did. We had our chef and his team selected one. And then the ladies of the distillery selected
nice.
another one. And this is a fun story. So when we were all done, Aaron asked, so does my team need to pick from the samples you pulled? And famous last words. Famous last words. I said, well, no, you're the head distiller, You can pick whatever barrel you want.
Recognize.
And they were hiding a barrel.
Oh,
You were totally hiding that barrel.
Shenanigans.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Shenanigans.
I declare.
I tasted it and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
You had the magic.
yes.
I don't know how you can hide a barrel from the barrel master. That seems like
Right.
Someone's
I don't
slacking off
know.
there.
I was new.
What a quandary.
Shenanigans.
What a quandary.
Well, it makes it even cooler. So thanks, guys. That's great.
Yeah, we're very excited. We're gonna have to go take a little taste. Everybody, just kind of chill out for a second. Well, first of all, let's finish up on this one. Very far more complex than Sister Number 1, and I mean that in a good way. I don't want to say she's all over the place, but you're right. I'm calling it a she because you put sister into my head.
She devil.
But a great long finish, which does end differently than when it went in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flowery, peppery. I like it. I mean, I like them all.
She really opens up with a touch of water too.
I think
Yeah. Added some water to it, and that's beautiful.
It's really.
I have before we go back and I'm sorry. Who wants to actually refill these
I'll get you.
glasses? Okay, because while you're refilling the glasses, I'll ask Greg a question and Ann as well, but more for Greg at the moment. How excited were you to get the restaurant back open?
Yeah, I was so like, it's hard to describe like the
I'm not a
feeling March of 2020 when we stood in the restaurant that Sunday night that DeWine said, "Hey, we're gonna shut everything down. Restaurants have to close." And we had just the Sunday before that had our holiday party. So it's weird to have a holiday party in March, but we're a restaurant. We can't. December's crazy. And
Yeah,
so it's
you gotta
always
wait.
It's always first quarter sometimes. So we actually had it the first weekend in March, and we were all over at Seventh Son, and we had the whole team there. And I was telling everybody how proud I was just of what we had accomplished in 2019, and felt like we could take on anything. And then a week later, I'm standing in the restaurant, and there's tears, and everyone's not knowing what's coming next, and saying like, "Hey, we have to close tomorrow." And we did a little research, and here's like, let's get on. We can't pay everybody, so here's the website for unemployment, and let's get together tomorrow and we'll start walking through it. It was just this whole thing, and like that feeling of I'm letting the team down, and just having to have that conversation with all of them was tough. And so fast forward to this June when we reopened, and it's just the energy around here with it closed was different. Every time I walk through, the restaurants looks like a storage facility as opposed to a restaurant. And so this June, when we had people back in there and people in the day and getting ready for the energy that comes in at night when all the people come in, it was fun for me, but it was fun just to see the mood on the team, and just that energy back at the distillery was magical. And so it's great to be back open. And I know right now there's, people they're still concerned with COVID, and that's real.
Sure. And there's a whole new Delta variant that's causing concern, and everybody's wondering hesitantly what's next, and so forth and so on.
But it feels great to have the restaurant back open.
Still got your chef?
We still got our chef. He stuck around with us.
He stuck it through. Because you gotta just to remind people, you got a top-notch guy.
He's amazing. Yeah, the food is amazing. Like he doesn't get that wrong. He crushes it with the food.
Yeah,
it's been great to have.
Ann was very kind enough to bring a few samplings over here earlier. We had the fingerling potatoes, and what'd you call it? The Columbus caviar. What was that?
Oh, the pickledillies.
Oh, the pickledillies.
Oh, pickledillies.
So Chef Jack, that was his grandma made those growing up. It's like his favorite snack growing up.
It's the best thing ever.
I could kill a plate of those.
Yeah.
I could kill a whole plate
pickle
of those.
wrapped in like cold cut ham and like a fried
delicious.
thing on top.
Yeah. A little bit of bacon in there. And
And this is the pork rinds.
Oh, the pork rinds.
Homemade hot sauce.
The hot sauce. The hot sauce. Go easy on the hot sauce. It's delicious, but
it's got a little kick.
It's got a kick.
It's made here.
We
So there
sell
you
the
go.
hot sauce out of the
I was going to
shop.
say
that's
black.
That's
your
good stuff. Hot sauce.
Yes.
Whiskey, hot sauce.
Yeah, so that's Chef Jack. It's like his signature black cap hot sauce, which is pretty amazing.
Before we
Check the
sample
show
these
notes.
again, I want to ask Aaron another question too, as well, from the distilling point of view. You mentioned something before we started the podcast. You kind of teased at a triple pot distilled.
Did I?
You
I don't even
did.
know what that means.
You did.
We have as for what we do, sometimes I don't know if the terms creation or invention is like out of necessity. So we definitely didn't reinvent anything. We're definitely always experimenting, always trying to make the most out of our footprint, make the most out of the equipment we've invested in, Greg's invested in. So in order to move through our fermenters a little bit faster, we move some of our bourbon mash into our pot still, which normally we reserve for our white spirits, our gins, a little bit of apple brandy, all of our vodkas. So we put our bourbon in there. And now typically bourbon coming off the pot is very oily. It's got a lot more flavor. It's got a lot more of some of the stuff that's cleaned off in a column still. So the finish coming off of our distilled off our head frame, which is our column, is much cleaner, much crisper. It's just different. And you'll often hear that it's hard for distillers to be consistent when they're running a pot still. And that's the Ann's term magic of running a pot still, but it's also difficult to give a consistent product. So what we found was, obviously, putting all our heads together is the more times we redistilled it through the pot, the cleaner product we got. Where at 3 distillations, we're there. So we've got something that we're putting in the barrel, and hopefully we'll have something magical coming out in a few years.
No doubt. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, let's go back and resample. Thank you, by the way, for pouring smaller samples on the second. No, I mean
two of them are almost illegal.
Sincerely. We have to be at work tomorrow morning. We have to do a radio show at 5 a.m.
Greg made me refill 3 times.
He's
not enough.
We go back to the 846. The nose is still the same to me as before, so that hasn't changed. But I'm curious about how it's going to land on the palate.
They're all now that we've gone through the whole flight, they're all very different.
Yeah.
And this one has a little bit more of that funky rye. Now that I think about it,
Mm-hmm.
How dare you?
Comparatively,
How dare you? How dare you mention a rye that does not exist yet at Watershed Distillery?
but do you sell that? You taste that anymore? No?
Yeah.
There's a distillery in Lexington that uses like blue corn or something. But that's sometimes the corn, even just a different flavor corn, can add some funk.
Mm-hmm.
Good term, funk.
There's nothing blue coming out of our distillery, by the way. It's true.
We bleed red, white, and blue over here. I don't mean to jump the gun.
Yeah.
I do not mean to jump the gun.
Are you going to say it? You're going to say it, aren't you?
What do you think I'm going to say?
I think you're going to say that you.
I don't
really,
need to
really
taste
like it.
any other.
Did I
ones.
what?
This is it.
That you really, really like it.
No, I was going to say that it's probably not going to be my choice.
Oh.
Wow. Call me a liar.
Well,
No,
I
I
will
can't
say the
call you a
second time
liar.
around, I like it a lot better. I mean, for the first limits for the record, for the first time around, the fourth one was my favorite, and then now this one is like, what?
No, well, that's why you have to go back and retry, man, because things change. The nose didn't change on that one for me, but the palate did a little bit.
Mhm.
So, all right.
Can we do like the Kiss records? You know how the Kiss did like a Paul Simon record, a Gene Simmons record.
Yeah.
Let's just all of us do our own. Well, there's 4 of them right here.
I don't think they have that many labels,
No.
Hansberry. So I think we should be happy and flattered that they're going to put a Whiskey Business
Okay.
little,
all right.
little
all right,
moniker on there.
All right. I'm getting ahead of myself.
We'll put a G on one bottle.
No, we don't know. I think it's you.
But somewhere down the line, because I've said this before, to your credit, that you have developed a really good palate and a good nose. I think down the line, I totally see Hansberry selected before it's all said and done.
We're gonna hard
Not tonight.
Nothing left.
Not tonight.
Look, this is the last we got. Just say you like it, dude.
All right, that was the one that was 119 proof, 4 years old. This is the 118.2
Mhm.
that we're trying again.
So this one, revisiting it, it has a creaminess to it that I don't remember picking up the first time through.
And you had to say it, but I get it right on the nose.
Right.
Like almost a
Yeah.
cream.
On the nose,
Like-
especially.
Like you just like a Barks red cream soda or something.
This is just, like that perfect hit.
This goes down really smooth. This
Really smooth. I was going to say Hansberry, really smooth.
This is just easy
Easy,
drinking.
easy.
Mm.
I seem to remember someone saying that was an easy sipper.
You totally did.
Huh.
You totally did.
Huh.
Hmm.
It's got that licorice, like red vine, even flavor.
And that was
Not
the
a-
one from the Bottled and Bond Batch 1 season.
Right. I remember that. Yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean, again, like, are these very similar
no.
sessions? No. I'm saying like to what you guys do. I'm just curious because I've never
It
done one of
is.
these before.
It is, but we're probably
We're
we do it all the
fast.
time, so we're a lot faster.
Yeah, we're
Like,
super fast.
But
Greg's like, I got shit to do.
you know, I mean,
I'm a CEO, goddammit.
Every day.
I've got a business to run. I have other people that are supposed to do this shit.
waiting out
All
there.
true. You just let me know which one is the right one, and that's the one that I'll push.
It's all true.
God bless America.
well, you guys said it, but it's way more fun this way. But when we do it, it's like
Infinitely more fun.
Well, this is fun because you guys like probably already know the answer, and we're like,
so far he's picked right. That's not it.
All right, number 3, the 128. We're back to the sisters. The 128.7.
But when we're doing it, there might be 50
Sure.
bottles out there. Not 50, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of smelling that happens and narrow it
I
down.
think we
and
did
you
20
taste.
some the other night, and it was like,
It
by
got
the end,
crazy.
I'm like,
What
It was
Good.
Good.
What was the palate fatigue was the term,
Yeah.
the turn of
I
phrase.
feel like
bet.
one day you took on a ton. Like I lasted 10 barrels and I was like, all right, I'm out. And I
Palate
came back
fatigue,
mhm.
barrel boredom.
50 barrels selections was enough.
That's
That
a
was
lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. I survived.
I
Somebody-
mean, I can't imagine because I've been on barrel
can
selections where I've done
Yeah.
12
Well,
in a
Yeah.
day. 12 in the morning and another. When I went to Jack Daniels, I think we did a total of 15 over the course of the day.
Mhm.
And like,
yeah, that's tough.
yeah.
well, but and you're right, you can spit, but I think sometimes the follow through
Right.
Yeah.
is
You're
part of-
still
part of
not
the
getting-
deal.
Well, plus
Yeah.
it's on your tongue.
All right. This
Right?
is the first
You
sister.
hear that, honey?
This was the good sister. This is, if I remember correctly,
That was the good sister.
this is the good sister that,
Yeah.
that went to bed at a decent hour
Right.
and did her homework.
Her parents are proud.
We might get in trouble.
Yeah, for the record, no matter which bottle we pick, they're all amazing.
They're all
Yeah, these are all going to be.
Yeah, we're not gonna
I think
make-
you guys set us up to succeed.
We're
so
not going to
thank
make
you guys.
we're not going to make a mistake either
No,
way.
no.
I can tell you that much, Ohio, that and anybody else that's listening in any other state, but this particular selection is only going to be available exclusively at Watershed Distillery. So you're going to have to come visit us in Columbus, Ohio. But no matter which one we pick, there's no wrong move here. It's just literally which one we like truly
Yeah.
the very,
Right,
very best.
right.
A good sister,
Mhm.
but
Oh. Are we having another elimination?
I'm not saying
No.
necessarily.
We have our first elimination?
Well,
I thought number one was
I
not
said
it.
the first one. I don't know. I don't know.
You are not it. Is that-
Yeah,
By the way,
well,
Greg said it's going to cost $1 per proof. So these we're looking at $100 plus dollars.
Hansberry's paying.
Okay. It's a good sister.
I mean, the good sister's
It is a
growing
good
on me.
sister.
Like that one.
It's a good sister.
I keep going back to sip that
The
one.
cheerleader grew on me the second time
there
through.
has to be something positive about the fact that she went to bed at a decent hour,
Right.
studied, got good grades.
And
And
here's the
doesn't-
thing.
and listen
doesn't
to her
need-
parents.
Doesn't need eye cream. What was the? I missed the.
you might
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that
I don't know what
she's
that was,
magical if you hadn't met her sister.
Oh.
So think about it. Like
Yeah.
natural comparison. She might be the star if you hadn't met the
her
sister.
sister.
But the bad sister's.
Well, the
star?
Do you have
crazy
a sister?
sister.
Yeah, how many people?
I don't.
You do
Just
not
a
have
brother.
sister? You have what?
Just a brother.
Just a brother?
Yeah.
And do you get older or younger?
Younger.
Younger.
Mhm.
I see. And who
I'm
gets
the
compared to
wild
who?
So he's the good kid.
He's the
You must be a
So-
priest.
So if there was no brother,
Good kid over
if
there.
there was never a brother, you would have been as
Just
good
the
as-
kid.
as-
Just the kid.
But the good kid, you would have
Right.
been a good. Would have nothing to compare it to.
My parents say the reason why there's such an age gap between us was because they weren't sure they wanted any more kids. So,
Because of you?
like, but and then they had him and they're like, oh, this isn't so bad. This is
And
bad.
for the record, people listening on the podcast, she's got red hair. So they always said redheads are always.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
banana
Do you
or
believe that's true?
Firecrackers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My little
So
niece Bryn is redhead.
I would say like
troublemaker.
red-haired Scorpios. It's true. It's true.
What does your brother do?
He's a lobbyist.
He's a lobbyist.
Yes.
Okay.
And
For
a
the liquor-
huge.
for the liquor agency.
He's no, but he's a,
He's the good kid.
he really is.
Like a
He's the
snake.
rule follower. He's absolutely the rule follower, and
That's funny.
yeah, but a huge Watershed fan,
Yeah.
and is constantly like sending us. I just went into this liquor store. I didn't see Watershed. He's out of state.
Is he listening tonight?
I don't know.
Maybe. Well, he'll see
Where's
it
he, where's
eventually,
he
right?
live? Out east?
He's in Michigan.
Oh, so
Well, nobody's
Yeah,
perfect.
I don't know.
Not that good kid.
Yeah.
my cousin lives out in Virginia, and they have Watershed out there, and he's very excited about it. Yeah.
No,
Because no, Maryland, and I think that's a controlled state too.
probably through Seal Box.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maryland.
Yeah.
We saw a little bit into.
So
DC.
well, since we mentioned other states,
Shout
how
out to
far
them.
reaching is Watershed now? I mean, where are we at? I mean, in what
So-
other states are we at? Other than
Yeah, most of our business is still Ohio, but we sell quite a bit into Georgia, and we're starting to grow Michigan as well.
Mhm.
But then we sell a little bit into states like Kentucky, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, DC.
I think we mentioned before that the Watershed was held in high esteem in Chicago.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Huge.
yeah.
It's
We've gotten some good buzz out there, which is
Yeah.
fun. Really cool to see.
I think I told you the story last time. I went and they were like, "Oh, we've got this rare Michter's, blah blah blah, yada yada." They're listening to all this.
And then we have this
Watershed.
Watershed
Like,
from Columbus,
You're
Ohio.
like, that stuff's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, what?
That's like every time I walk through the liquor store and someone's in the bourbon aisle, I'm like, man, that Watershed stuff is great. We had that last night. Keep walking.
Yeah. Do they have this? Do they have this? Do they have this in Chicago yet?
Yeah, well, that's
The bottle of bond.
I think they just got a shipment in.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. If it's not on the shelf yet, it's gonna be.
It is
They're gonna-
literally
en
like
route.
hitting right
They're
now.
gonna.
Yeah.
It's the shit.
Yeah, they're gonna lose their minds
Yeah.
in Chicago.
Hear that,
Chicago. All right, last one. This is the other sister.
Mhm.
All right, and then we have to make some choices and decisions. And I think it will be a mutual decision. Majority rules. Even
All right.
All right.
Very cool.
I mean, how do I discount
Yeah.
the CEO, the head distiller,
The head distiller.
and the
Barrel master.
barrel master?
I love the baritone you're kicking in.
Yeah, I know.
That's
So your
great.
voice went a little lower when you said that. All
If I
right.
drink a little more, the Michigan accent will come out. It'll get really
All right,
fun.
the last one. Here we go.
And Aaron poured me just a little Dixie cup with a splash of water in it. I don't know if he was trying to sell me on something.
You're the one that took 4 extra pours of that bottle.
I heard you two, not virtually, but air high fiving each other. I don't think the two of you should go out.
Yes, hey, Aaron.
I think
What time's your wife expecting you?
I think bad things will happen. You both have small children at home, and you both have very understanding wives, apparently. I think it's a bad idea. Before it's all said and done.
Well,
But to
it's
each his
work
own.
related.
All right.
honey,
All
honey, it
research.
was work.
But if you do go out,
Have your
call
people
me.
call my
Call me.
Have your people call my
Yeah,
people.
call me.
house. We
I want to
can
come
do
with. All right. Okay. And the second sister, which I said earlier, had a lot more going on than sister number one, but I got it now.
Now it's a little crazy.
When Aaron, you splash the water in it, it's a little more mellow with a vanilla hit.
I'm still drinking it without any water in it.
Second
And
time.
what do you think about that? I mean, I say all the things that I admired about sister number two.
Yeah.
Real quick,
On the
these
first
will
taste.
be foolproof
Mhm.
in the bottle. So
Yeah.
Right. It'll be
That's
like
fair.
this. So the second time through, that one parties like kind of wild.
Kind of crazy. Like
Yeah.
unpredictable.
Right.
Like,
Right. Like it turned.
yeah, sister one had a little consistency
Mhm.
to her, which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, when we were talking about an everyday
But
bottle.
would you get bored after you've been married?
No. When we were talking about an everyday pour, an everyday bottle, what you look for was consistency.
never happened to me.
And,
I like this one.
and dependability. And now with sister number two, yeah,
And when you revisit back, it's like, ooh, that's like,
good, but am I drinking a different whiskey? That's what I feel
So-
like.
So if you another podcast that's very good, the Esther Perel one about relationships. People have like crazy relationships. This just went off the rails.
Will you do that podcast? Will you do that podcast?
I would. Well,
Will you do a podcast with Whisky Business about whiskey and relationships?
Oh, every day, yeah, but no, Esther
All by
Perel.
yourself, all by your lonesome.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
can
Can I just
totally.
say, how long have you been married? How long have you been married?
20 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
All right, so she's been in the industry post dating.
Right. But Esther Perel, she has this thing like, is this a love story or a life story? Because there's people where like you can have a love story, but this is not a long-term thing. And I feel like we just discovered that in bourbon right here. Because coming back to the one sister, she's still making dinner for the kids. Like they're not starving.
One of these is
But
like
is that what I
Rachel
want in my
Steele, they didn't
bourbon?
Quit it.
I don't know.
No.
What do you want in
That's
your
the
bourbon?
question.
Well,
Hansberry?
I'm going to flat out say it. 4 still is my favorite. And even when we watered it down with a splash of water, it made it. It took it's made it tastier and a little more subtle.
Okay.
So, which
is 4 your pick?
Yeah,
Because I haven't gotten to that part of the program.
Well, I know. That's why I'm ballsy out there. If I had to pick, 4 would be my number 1. Now, again, this is a democracy, and I'm willing to discuss some of the other ones.
Is it? Yeah. Is it? All right,
because we already said 1's out, right?
No, I said 1 was out. I didn't say that's not. That's my opinion, not yours. That's my opinion.
So the oldest one is out.
The what?
The oldest one.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I liked it. Like going back to it.
It was great.
It's a close third for me. It's like, it's not even-
But part of
Question
it goes back to the
everyone.
conversation of like an everyday whiskey versus a bottle pick versus a splurge bottle. And I think 4 is a more of a single barrel splurge bottle flavor profile. Like,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like
Okay,
a
all right.
one-nighter versus
All right.
a Marrier.
But, I mean, tonight's podcast is way long, obviously, but that's okay.
yeah.
125.
What is it?
125.
125. So let's try to wrap it up here by in 90 minutes.
3 minutes.
All right. So you pick 4.
I guess if we're push comes to shove, 4 is still my number
No,
1.
not push comes to shove. You like 4. You said it. You like 4.
And 4 is my number.
4's your number. All right. Hansberry picks 4.
Lehman.
I love these two. These two are my favorite,
Yeah.
and I think on first pass through, I thought 4
Yeah.
grabbed my attention. I went back and forth, and I would vote for 3 as my favorite, but I'm not going to be disappointed if we
it's-
pick
So
4.
maybe we do
I
like
think
one of
it's,
those. We need like a mathematician in here to do like some stat, like do a percentage word. Okay, so
Okay.
But these
1
these
point
4
for
options, these 2 were fascinating. I love these 2.
All right.
You get half one.
I'm going to go to the head distiller.
I think that. Hang on here.
And don't just say. Well, you know that.
You have
won't
to
just
tell 'em
say
what
it.
you picked
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
What do you mean by
You
that?
tried these
First.
like right before the podcast started. And made your quick.
So
It was a quick pick.
Barrel
Yeah.
846 was definitely my quick pick.
Number 1.
However, Barrel 0022 has stepped in for my everyday drinker / at that high of a proof at 118. I still feel like I want to like keep it to myself and be friends with it. And I think I'm going to go 0022.
Okay.
Whitney is all on that. All
Yep.
for it.
That's my number 1. That's
Okay.
my number 1.
Oh, we haven't gotten to you yet.
Okay, I'm wait.
And
We have a couple votes for the cheerleader, which I like. I like the cheerleader. It's great. So going into this, my favorite one was number 4. Like I literally
the Wild
put
Sister.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this whole round of single barrel picks, like when I tasted this, I'm like, this is going in the podcast episode. I was very excited because I go for like those deep, big. I like big sweet. I like big deep, like big finishes, all of that.
It's
Like
interesting to
it's
taste.
not there's magical, but there's nothing subtle about this at all. Like
No.
this thing is got lots of personality. So for me, I'm a 4. However, I can say number 2, the cheerleader, has some really, it's just so approachable and easy and has creaminess and like whipped cream, and it's just great.
So you're calling the cheerleader easy, by the way.
It's easy.
Well, but you also called it easy sipping.
It is
so
easy.
sipping,
Yeah.
easy to be with.
And then this one, the number 3, has some really nice, like kind of salted caramel dark chocolate
Right.
thing going on,
What
which
are you
is like
picking
great.
before it's all said and done?
Gotta go with your gut.
I mean, 4 is my girl.
Four
It's the redhead.
So you're picking the wild number 4?
I'm a 4. But if you guys don't pick it, it's okay.
No,
you
no,
can
no,
leave
no.
it with me.
No. 2 votes for 4.
Okay.
All right, Whitney. Now,
Big job.
what'd you say earlier?
And I said number 2. Number 2 is my favorite. Number 4 is my second favorite, but it's so close. It's razor thin.
Between 2 and 4.
Yes.
So not a battle between the sisters.
No. The reason why is because they're both so different.
They're both so different. You're not mic'd, are you?
No, I'm not. Yeah, but hopefully in the echo in the real
Right.
or commenting on,
Right.
they can hear me. But 2 and 4 are completely different. I like 1 because I could drink it every day. I like 4 because I would share it with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because to me, that one is a little bit more superior. And I would share it with my friends, so I would probably.
I guess that's I'm sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, great. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like 4 is a treat.
Because this is a single barrel.
What? You're picking 4?
I'm picking 4, brother.
What the? Earlier you screamed out 2 like you were getting married to it.
I did say it was a razor thin.
What a heartbreaker.
Whipped
4's a
cream,
treat.
cheerleader.
Oh, big pussy.
All right. Well, you know what?
If you're gonna come down here to Watershed and buy it, which we are gonna do,
We have an
you
issue.
want it to be like.
We might not finish. We might not finish in 90 minutes because we have 3 votes for 4, and my vote is for 2. So
But I can get on the side of 2. Like 2 is like
John can too.
blonde and whipped
Band.
cream. And
Bandwagon
Which one is
cheerleader.
blonde whipped cream? Because I would vote for that.
there was a movie
I
in
did
the
say it was razor thin,
90s.
so you have
I'm
to,
not gonna
like,
say
you know,
it.
convince me.
Are you
no,
talking about
you
Varsity
know what?
Blues over there? Varsity Blues.
Hold on a second.
Easy,
Hold on.
Vanderbeek.
Hold on a second. I know you said 2 and 4 were razor thin for you.
Yeah.
All right, so I will go to the head distiller to sway you. I picked 2, not because you like it, just because I was looking forward when I was thinking about the fact that the Whisky Business label of some sort would be on this Watershed bottle. When I wanted it to be something that was inviting, easy, not necessarily overly debated, but something much like our podcast that is very welcoming and fun and easy to digest on a regular, but still has a little kick to it. So I wanted something that kind of described our podcast.
Yeah.
I think of our podcast. Get out of the way.
Look, I'm trying
He's getting the cheerleader.
Showing off that ass.
He's getting the cheerleader.
I'm picking 2 because I think much like our podcast, and I'm going to quote you on this one, it's an easy sipper.
It is so easy.
You can listen to Whisky Business no matter what the episode is, because our guests range from A to Z, and on any given night, any given day, it'll be an easy sipper.
So 2 is on brand, is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. 2, that's a good way to put it. 2 is on brand.
Do you get like on number 2, do you get like a toasted marshmallow that just caught on fire like right at the end?
And not so burnt that you can't enjoy it.
It's not so
but
burnt,
just
but it's just
toasty enough, like
It's very
like,
sweet.
oh, I got this out the right time.
right, exactly. Like try like it's
It-
just
There's one thing I've learned in my life that I always should go with my first instinct. Number 2, I should go with 2.
2 was your first instinct.
Indian
That's what you
giver.
shouted out. Like
Indian
you were-
giver.
That's my first instinct, but after I tasted 4, it was like,
Well, as I said earlier, you can't go wrong with any of these bottles. Any choice that we make isn't going to be a bad choice.
it was on brand, you know, I'm going with 2.
2.
I'm in Shark Tank. Go for it.
2.
Okay, all right. So let's do it again. John, you say 2,
2.
and
I mean I picked 4, but that's me. I like 4.
No, it's good.
But
Stay with it.
2 is like
Stay with
good. 2 is good.
Stay with it, Aaron.
Aaron,
2.
Dino.
I'm sipping 2 again.
There's 2.
Gregor.
2.
I'm a 3.
3.
Well, so even if I pick 4, which I like, I love 2 as well. But the numbers say 2.
And
2
I
it
think
is.
I think this vote shows like how
Yeah.
close all these, like
This
how
is
good
the
all these
fun.
are. Like they're all delicious.
This is absolutely the fun of single barrels because a lot of times there's so many good ones and it's like, well, which one do you want to pick?
So for the record, for I guess what we're getting at is 2 is very sweet, subtle, drinkable. 4 is funky and a treat.
Yeah.
On that, I will say it takes people or in the industry that taste a ton of barrels to find the the amazing qualities in barrels like
Sure.
3
Right.
and 4.
Well, and
I would
think,
say that.
And I really
But your
think Greg
everyday
is right in the
drinker is
middle
not.
because 2 is not as, it's a little more subtle than 4.
Two's definitely more subtle than 4. Four is a wild child, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if I poured it again, I would taste something different again, which is kind of exciting and a little bit of a roller coaster ride.
But 4 might not be taking care of its kids.
Yeah.
Getting the government involved.
And some people would say, some people would say that maybe that's more representative of our podcast, not taking care of its kids on a regular basis. But I just think, yeah.
All right, well, I have more questions.
I went with a majority. I did not pick.
No, and I'm okay with it because I love 2. So tell us more about 2. Like, we got, it's from May 17, 118 proof.
It's down there.
Oh, I got it.
They're sipping it with a nipple on the
right
bottle.
No, but I mean, like, what can you tell us? Like, so the juice was put in May 17.
May of
Yes.
2017. It's 4 years, 3 months.
So it's a 3-grain bourbon. So there's corn, there's malted barley and rye in there.
And it was in the same spot of the warehouse back here. We don't
It was
know.
from
We
the
don't
same
know.
selection of barrels where we selected our initial batch of Watershed bottled and bond.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
So
we
it
can
is
assume pretty good that it's high up. It's high up and it's
Yeah.
closest to this entryway here. So it's getting a lot of draft from the
Front
door.
in the warehouse.
So that means it's high angel share or what? I mean, what does that mean?
It's had movement. It's had a lot of good movement.
That's movement.
And I think
Started across
I always
the
don't.
street.
I don't like high angel share because that means there's less for us. So,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't. I really
That's
I hope there's-
that's a
I hope
CEO
the
talking
CEO
right
comes
there.
in.
That's a CEO
Plenty
talking
left.
right there.
He wants to squeeze his
So
barrels
we
out.
have tours actually every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, several of them during the week. And Jen runs our on-site experience. She actually came to us from, I probably can't say, but
You
I'll
can say
say
Rabbit Hole.
Hole
Yeah.
Distillery. She opened their visitor center. And so
She's amazing. Jen,
we have
come
the
shout out
most,
to Jen Burley.
Oh,
You're great.
generally, we have Wes, who has his own TikTok channel and has more followers than any of us have. We have Mark, who is amazing.
Yeah, tour
we have
guides are great.
TJ, and is it Ashley?
Kayla.
Kayla. That's it. I haven't been on her tour, but we have amazing
That's
tour
fun.
guides. And if you are ever in the area, please stop by. It's a really fun
And just like
experience.
schedule one online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watershed.
Come and see us
Oh
anytime. I'll
yeah,
give you a story.
watersheddistillery.com. You can book your tickets right there.
And then I have another question. I know. I just want to get my questions out of the way.
Okay.
What's going to happen to our sisters and our other guy?
Oh yeah. What's going to happen to sister number 2 that probably
Yeah, 1, 2, and the other.
it was
guy. Why didn't you do the first
actually
one?
it was between 2 and 4. So what's
Because
gonna happen-
846 was. I mean, they're all great.
They're all great. What's going to happen?
And Greg picked number 3.
Well, so
Yeah,
That might be my
yeah.
pick.
We totally dissed. the CEO
He's going to be like,
completely.
"Fuck you all. This is
Yeah,
one of
that's
my
the-
picks."
Last time I'm coming on.
We will never see him on Whiskey Business again.
Against me.
So what
We
does
totally
happen to these?
disagree on
What happens? That's a great question, Hansberry. What does happen to these other barrels now?
So we actually do. It's an allocated program. Our single barrels. So we will select kind of several at a time that are different and varied and everything like this. And so we have a wait list that's a lot longer than the number of single barrels that we have. So some of these will go in some other single barrel selections, and some of these will go in the next batch of bottled and bond. And so it just,
Yeah.
So there's-
some of them may end up in
or in
you know,
our Watershed Distillery bourbon.
blended bourbon here.
I know I focused on the bottle and bond, but the blended bourbon was excellent as well too. It's
Oh,
just
amazing.
Thank you.
it's just that the blended bottle was amazing, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry for those of you who have not had the bottle and bond Watershed. I hold it up against any bottle and bond in the country right now. It is the shit. It is the shit.
It's a direct quote. It is the shit.
It is the shit. I don't think you put that on the label.
Can I
But
put that on the tagline, Greg?
What's
Is that
that?
an approved tagline?
It's the shit. It's the
It's
shit.
the shit.
It's the shit. We can put it on
The
social
hype
media.
sticker.
We can get a
Talked to
t-shirt,
Jim
right?
about
It's
it.
a shit. It's a
Taglines
shit.
we talked about
It's the watershed. No, that doesn't sound good.
Whoa!
No.
That's not our brand. That's not our brand.
No. I said it out loud, and I knew it as soon as the last syllable left my word. I took it back in. All right. So number 2 is it, right?
Number 2.
That's the Whiskey Business pick.
The cheerleader in the middle.
Ohio. I hope you enjoy it when it comes out. When can we see this actually hit?
This will come in the first part of October, but let's announce it on social media, like once it's bottled and everything.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And maybe we won't do
come
another.
in when it's bottled.
We won't do another podcast,
Make
but
them
maybe
bottle
we can
it.
come and Whitney can bring my most amazing. I work with this guy on films and so forth and so on.
TikTok? You want to go do TikTok?
No,
We'll
we'll
do
do TikTok. We'll do
We know a guy.
We'll do a behind the bottle
Yes.
segment when we have the actual release.
Well, it only makes sense to track it all the way from selection
Right,
to
right.
bottling to Dean will buy me a bottle.
It'd be in October.
Yeah.
And I sincerely want to say that that was a lovely surprise from the beginning of the podcast. We're flattered. We're honored. We hope we chose correctly. I know we didn't go with the Wild Sister, and I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like since I went against you.
She's actually
bad
excited
juju.
it got left behind.
I feel like there's going to be some bad juju because I didn't go with Andemic and her choice. But at the same time, I feel like a kindred spirit with the distiller. So
You picked his barrel. It was great.
yeah, I don't know.
You also picked his barrel, like from the 2 barrels, the single barrels that we picked.
No, I thought that was yours.
Oh, I thought you picked his.
I picked
You picked
two.
mine.
While you're
Yeah,
snubbing the
I
CEO,
picked number 2.
I'm looking at the sales aspect of this. So,
No.
Greg,
We had some earlier whiskeys. I picked 2. I did not pick yours. I'm sorry, dude. I picked hers.
You did this time. It's fine.
Oh well, then I'm balanced.
You guys know way too much.
Prior to the podcast, we had other whiskeys. I picked yours,
Very good.
and tonight on the podcast, I picked his. So I'm even, Steven.
Yin and yang.
Yeah.
Yeah, neither one of you can do anything to hurt me.
We haven't tried that hard.
But we didn't do anything. With
We do
yours.
actually get along.
We left the CEOs completely out of the
These
mix.
are smart ones. That's why they're on the team.
That's what makes you a good CEO. You get people that are smarter than you
Right.
to make a lot of the other decisions. Seriously, congratulations, man.
Thanks, man.
From the start of this magnificent
You
distillery.
just said I wasn't smart and shook my hand and said
Yeah.
congratulations. I think that's good.
No, that's good. No.
It's been a fun journey.
Let me just close on this sincerely. We love all the distilleries in Columbus. We really do, and we've talked to a lot of them. But and I don't know, since Annie joined the group here a couple of years ago, maybe the communication has been a little more fluid and consistent. But we're thrilled to have been part of everything that you guys do down the line, and we wish you nothing but continued success. And I just think you keep raising the bar on yourselves, which is kind of cool. You know, you don't rest on laurels, which I think is kind of cool.
We're
and
elevating.
amazing. Yeah. And congratulations, man. Welcome.
Thanks very much.
Welcome to the family. Hope you
Appreciate
stick around for a long, long time. I enjoyed this. I want to thank, obviously, our guests tonight, Watershed Distillery, CEO Greg Lehman, Aaron Harris, and Dimmick, and, of course, the 2 guys that make it possible for you to hear and watch everything. John Whitney, way over there. Woof, woof.
Thanks, John.
Greg Hansberry.
Thank you. Well, thanks for watching us on Whisky Business's social media pages, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. I know, John, you've been trying to post comments and things. Dino and I normally when we do
Nobody
live,
can watch the comments. I haven't been able to see any comments tonight. They've been good?
Yeah, you know, his brother doesn't like him very much.
Oh, jeez.
I'm joking. He's not watching your comments.
That's really funny.
Crying out loud.
Oh, which one? That's really
Have there been comments?
No, yeah, a few.
Yeah, there's been a few. So thank you for watching. And if you are watching, so you can try this bottle, like
in October.
In October.
We'll follow up.
So thanks for doing that on YouTube. YouTube Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis. Of course, Facebook. Thanks for liking us. Instagram and Twitter. Follow us on your favorite social media platform and your favorite podcasting platform. Share. And honestly, Greg, I want you to give the hours and things when we can come visit you. But first, I want to let everybody know they can find us on Shudder. Shudder is a new
Shudder's amazing.
They're creepy.
You can't see us on Shudder.
You can find us on Shudder,
but you can't you can't find us in the fine family of Evergreen Podcast Network. Let's not forget the Evergreen Podcast Network, the family that we just joined.
Thanks, Evergreen.
There's on house that says Epic Show.
Epic Show, which will expand the reach. Evergreen.
But seriously, Greg, give the website of the distillery, the restaurant. When can you get tours? Give us all the juice.
Sure, thanks. No, watersheddistillery.com. You can get on there. You can book tours. The bottle shop's open at 11 a.m. Tuesday through, actually Monday through Sunday. We open at 11 a.m. The restaurant's open Wednesday through Sunday right now. And thank you guys. I mean, we laugh more. I laugh more on this podcast with you guys than any other podcast. It's always a great time.
Good. We have fun.
It's been so much fun. I'm glad that Ann came in and really got us connected with you guys and got us going. It's been.
Did it meet your expectations for a Whiskey Business podcast?
Beyond.
Beyond?
I've been living for this.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here.
I honestly, I know you're a fan of the podcast, so I was a little concerned that we would not live up to the expectations.
I think I referenced season 1 tonight.
You did.
I referenced
season 1.
obscure episodes from season 1.
So you're happy with tonight?
Oh, I'm so happy.
Okay, cool. You?
Hey, I'm just blessed to be here.
He's chilling right now.
I was like, Aaron, this is gonna be so fun. It's gonna be so fun.
We've got so many pork rinds left.
I'm absorbing the aura that is Dino here.
There's no aura.
Yeah.
No, there's no aura. All right, are we done?
We're good.
Are we pretty much done? Can I sign off?
Yeah.
Until the next bottle or bottles. See ya.
Dun, 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 dun.